Commander we haven't pulled out in a while. Daretti Scrap Savant versus Erebos, God of the Dead. A Faithless Looting in hand to get rid of the Worm Coil and the Mirror Works is good. We'll keep that. And we will do just that with the Faithless Looting. Draw 2, then discard 2. It has flashback of 3. And we can get even more stuff going next turn with the Wild Guess. So let's go with that. And we do want to load up our graveyard in this deck because Daretti is an artifact reanimator. +2 is discard up to 2 cards and draw that many. And -2 is sack an artifact if you do reanimate an artifact. And then -10, I've got this emblem down a few times, but I don't think I've done it on the channel. When an artifact dies, then return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. That is artifacts that we control, by the way. We'll... Arcbound Ravager, do we want to get rid of? No, I'm just going to assume that we're going to draw into more lands here, so we'll get rid of the Buried Ruin. We might have to Arcbound Ravager and Skull Clamp. Yes, we might have to do that as it happens. Might just be Faithless Looting next turn even. We'll see what happens. Mere Retriever and Skull Clamp isn't awful either. Yeah, we'll get the Faithless Looting going here. Okay, we get into another land, that's good, and we can get rid of the Staff of Nin and the Darksteel Forge. And then it might just be Great Furnace into Daretti next turn. Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to go for yet, actually. Erebos, God of the Dead, is a 4-mana 5/7 indestructible god. Your opponents can't gain life. It's actually relevant to us with Worm Coil Engine. And you can pay 2 mana and 2 life to draw a card. It's only a creature when your devotion to black is 5 or greater. And our opponent is refueling their hand with a Necropotence. We're not likely to do anything about that in this deck. We don't have too many means of getting rid of enchantments. Alhamrit's Archive is really good with Daretti. Yeah, why don't we go for Daretti but go for the card draw before anything else. We could sacrifice this artifact land to bring something back. But I'm not too bothered about that yet. Let's just discard the Alhamrit's Archive and the Arcbound Ravager. And we get into Mindslaver, that's pretty good. And we get into another land as well, which I'm happy about. So next turn I think is Mere Retriever and Skull Clamp. I don't think we'll clamp the Mere Retriever. I think we'll just sack it to Daretti and get the Alhamrit's Archive out. And our opponent's just ramping out like crazy. This is the Asylum Visitor. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, if that player has no cards in hand, you can draw a card and lose 1 life. So it might be that our opponent's looking to have us discard our hand. Let's go for Mere Retriever. And then why not... We'll grab ourselves a Worm Coil Engine, I think. We're not going to be able to gain life off of that, I don't think. But what we will be able to do, and we'll grab back that Alhamrit's Archive. Yeah, we're not going to be able to gain life off of this, I don't think, because we're probably seeing Erebos next turn, but we will be able to make use of the Death Touch. So why not just go for Skull Clamp here, and we'll clamp the Worm Coil Engine. And then the reason Alhamrit's Archive is so good, we'll probably hardcast it next turn. We will draw... Well, we'll discard 2 cards with Daretti and draw 2 typically, but Alhamrit's Archive will actually allow us to discard 2 cards and draw 4 because it doubles the number of cards you draw. It also doubles the amount of life that you gain as well, which isn't going to be relevant this game, I don't think. Our opponent is really, really killing themselves with that Necropotence. We've got an out of Mimic Vat as well, which is not good when we've got a Worm Coil Engine in play. Yeah, we'll get down the Alhamrit's archive, and that allows us to discard some cards and draw 4. There we go, there's Sol Ring. Nevermar's Disc is a means of destroying that Necropotence, but the only means they have of drawing cards currently is dumping life into that thing, and they are doing that to great effect, which keeps us from dealing any damage to them. Yeah, I think a gamble for, is it called Scrap Mastery? The Living Death for artifacts? Yes, Scrap Mastery would be good to go for, I think. So we'll just hold back the Worm Coil Engine and see what our opponent wants to do. Okay, there's Custody Lich. That is going to bring the Monarchy into play. Yeah, that is a problem for us, actually. That means that they don't have to put as much life into Necropotence. It also means that we have to sacrifice a creature here. And I have no doubt that Worm Coil Engine is going to go underneath the Mimic Vat. We at least draw 2 cards, oh no, 4 cards from that, thanks to Alhamrit's archive. And yeah, there's the Worm Coil Engine under there. I think this is 3 to activate. Yes, and the Worm Coil Engine will gain haste, so they can do that this turn if they want to. Now, luckily, it is exiled at the end of the turn. It is not sacrificed, so they won't get the tokens from it dying. Okay, I do want to keep Daretti around because I think I'm going to go for the Scrap Mastery, and I want to minus Daretti down to get the Arcbound Ravager into play so that we can sacrifice all of our artifacts and then bring them all back with the Scrap Mastery. So we can block like that. We don't want to put a Death Touch creature in front of the Worm Coil Engine because we don't want it to die. We want it to get exiled at the end of the turn. And yes, we will block like that. Still going at it with Necropotence, and why not? Because they can gain life from the Worm Coil Engine. It's your opponents that you stop from gaining life. So they're in a pretty good position right now. But hopefully we're going to put all that to a stop in a second. Okay, yeah. Temple of the False God is a lot of mana, so that's good. I want to try and draw as many cards as possible to make it less likely that we will discard the Scrap Mastery off of Gamble. So let's go for Squee. We will Clamp to draw 4. And I don't imagine our opponent's going to put Squee under the Mimic Vat when they have a really good Worm Coil Engine under there. Alright, and now we will be very unlucky if we discard what we tutor for here with Gamble. And what do we discard? We got rid of Starstorm, which we've only just drawn into. Could have actually made use of Starstorm. Now then, let's minus down Daretti. We get back, where is it? The Arcbound Ravager, because we want to sacrifice these artifacts before we get rid of them. Yeah, we can just ditch the Sol Ring to bring that back. Tap these for mana before we sacrifice them. And then we sack our 2 artifact lands. Unfortunately, we can't put Clamp onto the Arcbound Ravager, so we're just going to have to sacrifice these. And then we go for our Scrap Mastery. We get all of our artifacts back into play. Mirrorworks triggers a bunch of times. Is there anything we want to make a copy of with Mirrorworks? Actually, we can just Mindslaver, can't we? So let's always yield to these. That one is a copy of Staff of Nin. We say no. We're going to have to say no to everything, actually. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but we do have enough mana to go Mindslaver this turn. So let's do exactly that. And unfortunately don't have the mana to do that ability twice with Rings of Brighthearth. And now we're going to control our opponent during their turn. We will Staff of Nin that thing. Can't copy that because we don't have the mana. And we actually win next turn because we can just have our opponent kill themselves to Necropotence. So we get to have a look at our opponent's hand here. They have Endrick Sar, Mindstone, No Mercy, Noxious Gearhulk, Obnixilis, Phyrexian Delver, another land. Yeah, they actually have a pretty good hand going on there, but we are just going to kill them with Necropotence triggers here. Yeah, and our opponent sees that. I wouldn't necessarily have gone for the Necropotence win there, but Erebos was looking really good and they were getting into lots of good cards. And I just know how good a deck Erebos can be, so I think we had to pick up the win when we got the chance there. We'd shown the Daretti deck off enough there, I think, and Erebos might have gotten away with a victory there had we have left him sticking around for long enough. I don't know how soon we could have gotten the Monarchy away from our opponent, so with all the card draw and then the bits of life gain, I just wanted to take the victory as soon as possible. So killing our opponent with Necropotence is our means of victory this time. That was Erebos, God of the Dead, versus Daretti, Scrap Savant. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.